Theme number 5, Through the Eyes of the Travelers. Perception of Society from 10th to 17th century AD. Important descriptions of the city of Vijayanagara in the 15th century comes from Abdur Razak Samarkandi, a diplomat who came visiting from the Herat. Abdur Razak Samarkandi from Herat. Al-Biruni from Uzbekistan, 11th century AD. Abdur Razak Samarkandi in 15th century. Al-Biruni from Uzbekistan in 11th century. Ibn Battuta from Morocco in 14th century AD, and Francois Berner from France in 17th century AD. So Al-Biruni, first point, Al-Biruni and the Kitab al-Hind. First A, Khwarizm was an important center of learning, and Al-Biruni received best education. Al-Biruni was well versed in Syriac, Arabic, Persian, Hebrew, and Sanskrit. Don't know Greek, but read Plato in Arabic translations. In 1017, Sultan Mahmud invaded Khwarizm and took scholars like Al-Biruni to his capital Ghazni. Sanskrit works on astronomy, mathematics, and medicine had been translated into Arabic from the 8th century onwards. Al-Biruni spent years in the company of Brahmana priests and scholars, learning Sanskrit and studying religious and philosophical texts. Translated Patanjali's work on grammar in Sanskrit into Arabic. For his Brahmana friends, he translated the works of Eleusinides, a Greek mathematician, into Sanskrit. Arrow. River Volga. River Volga is the largest and the longest river in Europe, flows through the central Russia and into the Caspian Sea, national river of Russia. 1b. The Kitab al-Hind. The Kitab al-Hind in Arabic. 80 chapters on subjects like religion and philosophy, festivals, astronomy, alchemy, manners and customs, social life, weights and measures, iconography, laws, and metrology. Metrology is the science of measurement. So Al-Biruni was in the 11th century. Al-Biruni was familiar with translations and adaptations of Sanskrit, Pali, and Prakrit texts into Arabic. These ranged from fables means Dant Kathaएं, to works on astronomy and medicine. So, in the arrow, the origin of the word Hindu. So, first of all, the Persians called the Sindhu the Indus. Then the Arab called Al Hind or Hindi. Then the Turks called the Hindu Hindustan or Hindavi. Then the arrow image, a 13th century Arabic manuscript showing the Athenian statesman and poet Solon, who lived in the 6th century BCE. A 13th century Arabic manuscript showing the Athenian statesman and poet Solon, who lived in the 16th BCE. 16th BCE. Wait. 1 2. Ibn Battuta's Rihla or Book of Travels in Arabic, details about social cultural life in the subcontinent in the 14th century AD. Ibn Battuta, born in Tangier in Morocco, Sharia family, he made pilgrimage to Mecca, traveled in Syria, Iraq, Persia, and Yemen. Iraq and Syria, Persia, and Yemen, Oman, and a few trading ports of the east coast of Africa. Through Central Asia, reached Sindh in 1333. Ibn Battuta was loved by Muhammad bin Tughlaq's reputation as a generous patron of arts and letters. Set off for Delhi, passing through the Multan and Uch. So Ibn Battuta was contemporary of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So Sultan appointed him Qazi or judge of Delhi. Qazi means judge. So Sultan appointed him Qazi or judge of Delhi. He was ordered in 1342 to proceed to China as the Sultan's envoy to the Mongol ruler. From the Malabar, he went to the Maldives, where he stayed for 18 months as the Qazi, but eventually decided to proceed to Sri Lanka, visited Bengal, Assam, took ship to Sumatra. From there, another ship to the Chinese port town of Zaitun, that is Quanzhou, went up to the Beijing. Ibn Battuta's account is compared with Marco Polo, who visited China and also India from his home base in Venice in the late 13th century AD. So Marco Polo in late 13th century AD and Ibn Battuta in 14th century AD. Ibn Battuta in Daulatabad in Maharashtra. He was attacked by bands of robbers several times. From Multan to Delhi, his caravan was attacked by robbers. The enjoyment B. The enjoyment of curiosities. Inveterate traveler. Inverte Inveterate. Inveterate traveler. Inveterate. Inveterate traveler. Inveterate means cutter. So the Abdul Razak Samarkandi, who visited India in 1440s. Abdul Razak Samarkandi, who visited India in 1440s, that is the 15th centuries AD, an Iranian ambassador to Deccan, visited Hampi at the court of the Raja of Vijayanagara, sent from the then Iranian capital, presently in Afghanistan, Herat, by King Shah Rukh on a 3-year mission, mostly to court of the Zamorin of Calicut in Kozhikode. The major Muslim power in Deccan at that time was the Bahmani Empire, that is the Iranian of origin. Bahmani Empire was of Iranian origin. Persian book Matla us Sadain wa Majma ul Bahrain. So Abdul Razak Samarkandi is wrote a Persian book Matla us Sadain wa Majma ul Bahrain. Now next arrow came the Mahmud Wali Balkhi, who travelled very widely in the 1620s, became a sort of sannyasi for a time. The next point is Sheikh Ali Tazin, who came to North India in 1740s, was an Iranian traveller, poet. At the first at first came to Delhi, but since he did not like the city, he went on to Banaras. Sheikh Ali Tazin went on to Banaras and settled there permanently. He sent a couplet with his friend to return, which translates Hazin says, I will not leave Banaras because the whole city is a place of worship. Here, every Brahmin boy is a Ram or a Lakshman. Third point Francois Bernier. Jesuit Roberto Nobili even translated Indian text into European languages. Port- he was a Portuguese. Duarte Barbosa was also Portuguese. Account of Trade and Society in India. Duarte Barbosa is a Portuguese. Account of Trade. Joseph Roberto Nobile is a Portuguese who translated Indian text into European languages. French jeweler Jean-Baptiste Tavernier. French jeweler Tavernier, fascinated with the trading conditions in India and compared India to Iran and Ottoman Empire. And Ottoman Empire. Italian doctor Manucci never returned and settled in India. Francois Bernier, a doctor, political philosopher, and historian, stayed for 12 years from 1656 to 1668. Bernier was associated with the Mughal court as a physician to the Prince Dara Sikho, the eldest son of the Shah Jahan, and later as an intellectual and scientist with Danishmand Khan, an Armenian noble at the Mughal court. Danishmand Khan, an Armenian noble at the Mughal court. 3a. Comparing East and West. Francois Bernier dedicated his major writing to the Louis XIV, the King of the France. Bernier saw a bleak situation in comparison to developments in Europe. His works translated into English, Dutch, German, and Italian. English, Dutch, German, and Italian. Arrow. Later, after 1750s, when Indians like Sheikh, when Indians like, when Indians like Sheikh Itisamuddin, Itisamuddin and Mirza Abu Talib visited Europe and confronted this image that Europeans had of their society, they tried to influence it by producing their own versions of matters. Sheikh Itisamuddin and Mirza Abu Talib. Fourth point making sense of an alien world, Al Biruni, and the Sanskritic tradition. 4a Overcoming barriers to understanding. Al Biruni discussed several barriers that he felt obstructed understanding. First, Sanskrit was so different from Arabic. and Persian that ideas and concepts could not be easily translated from one language to another. Second, difference in religious beliefs and practices. Third, self absorption and consequent insularity of the local population. Interestingly, being aware of all these problems, Al Biruni depended almost exclusively on the works of the Brahmins, often citing passages from Vedas, Puranas, Bhagavad Gita, Patanjali's works, Manusmritis, etc., to provide an understanding of Indian society. 4b. 4b Al Biruni's description of caste system. He noted that in ancient Persia, four social categories were recognized: those of knights and princes, monks, fire priests and lawyers, physicians and astronomers and scientists, and finally peasants and artisans. That is, he attempted to suggest that social divisions were not unique to India. At the same time, he pointed out that within the Islam all men were equal, differing only in their observance of piety. Al-Biruni disapproved the notion of pollution. The conception of social pollution intrinsic to the caste system was, according to him, contrary to the laws of the nature. In real life, the system was not quite as rigid. For instance, the categories defined as antyaja, literally literally born outside the system. Antyaja means literally born outside the system. Antyaga. Antyaja means literally born outside the system. So in real life, the system was not quite as rigid. For instance, the categories defined as antyaj were often expected to provide inexpensive labor to both peasants and zamindars. Fifth point, Ibn Battuta and the excitement of the unfamiliar. Ibn Battuta was amazed with coconut. 5a, the coconut and the palm. Betel tree. Betel has no fruit and is grown only for the sake of its leaves. Areca nut and leaves. Areca nut. 5b, Ibn Battuta and Indian cities. Daulatabad in Maharashtra was no less and easily rivaled Delhi in size. Next point, the rampart, definite defensive wall. The rampart, that is defensive wall. The rampart around Delhi is without parallel. 28 gates, that is Darwaza, and of these, the Badaun Darwaza, Badaun. The Badaun Darwaza is the greatest. Inside Mandvi Darwaza, Mandwi. Mandvi Darwaza, there is a grain market. Adjacent to the Gul Darwaza, there is an orchard, ORCHARD. Delhi has a symmetry. Delhi has a finite symmetry in which grave have domes over them, and those that do not have a dome have an arch or have an arch for sure. In symmetry, they sow flowers. Such as tuberose, jasmine, wild rose, etc., and flowers blossom here in all season. Ibn Battuta found Indian agriculture very productive because of the fertility of the soil, which allowed farmers to cultivate 2 crops per year. Ibn Battuta also noted that the subcontinent was well integrated with inter-Asian networks of trade and commerce, with Indian manufacturers being in great demand in both Western Asia and Southeast Asia, fetching huge profits for artisans and merchants. Indian textiles, particularly cotton cloth, fine muslins, silks, brocade, and satin, were in great demand. Next arrow, Ikat weaving, IKAT. Ikat weaving patterns at several coastal production centers in the subcontinent and in Southeast Asia. Next arrow. In Daulatabad, there is a marketplace for male and female singers, which is known as Tarababad. Tarababad. 5c. A unique system of communication. Almost all trade routes were well supplied with the inns and guest houses. Postal system is of two kinds. The horse post called Uluk every 4 miles. ULUK. Uluk. The horse post called Uluk every 4 miles. And the foot post has 3 stations every mile called Dawa. Foot post is quicker than the horse post. Often it is used to transport the fruits of Khorasan, which are much desired in India. Sixth point, Bernier and the Degenerate East. Bernier account contained discussions trying to place the history of the Mughals within some sort of universal framework. He constantly compared India with contemporary Europe. Burney's representation of India works on the model of the binary opposition, where India is presented as the inverse of Europe. Binary opposition. 6a. The question of land ownership. Pelsaert, 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 a Dutch traveler. Like Bernier, he's, he was shocked to see the widespread poverty. Pelsaert, a Dutch traveler like Bernier, was shocked to see the widespread poverty. According to Bernier, one of the fundamental differences between the Mughal India and Europe was the lack of the private property in the land in the former, that is Mughal India. Bernier was firm believer of the virtues of the private property and saw crown ownership of the land as being harmful for the both states and its people. The common perception was that in the Mughal Empire the emperor owned all the land and distributed it amongst his nobles, and this had disastrous consequences for the economy and society. Bernier described Indian society as consisting of undifferentiated masses of impoverished people, subjugated by a small minority of a very rich and powerful ruling class. Between the poorest of the poor and the richest of the rich, there was no social group or class worth the name. He asserted, in quotations, there is no middle state in India. Bernier saw the Mughal Empire. Its king was the king of beggars and barbarians. None of the Mughal official documents suggest that the state was the sole owner of the land. For instance, Abul Fazl describes the land revenue as remunerations of sovereignty. Remunerations, remunerations of sovereignty. A claim made by the ruler on his subjects for the protection he provided rather than as a rent on the land that he owned. However, this was usually not a rent or even a land tax, but a tax on the crop. However, this was not actually however, this was actually not rent or even a land tax, but a tax on the crop. French philosopher Montesquieu used Bernier's account to develop the idea of Oriental despotism, according to which rulers in Asia, the Orient or the East, enjoyed absolute authority of the subjects. Acha, the French philosopher Montesquieu used Bernier's account to develop the idea of Oriental despotism, according to which rulers in the Asia enjoyed absolute authority over their subjects, who over their subjects who were kept in conditions of subjugation and poverty, arguing that all land belonged to the king and that private property was non existent. According to this view, everybody except the emperor and his nobles barely managed to survive. Next point. This idea was further developed as the concept of the Asiatic mode of production by Karl Marx in 19th century. Marx argued that in India and other Asian countries before colonialism, surplus was appropriated by the state. This led to the emergence of a society that was composed of a large number of autonomous and internally egalitarian village communities. The imperial court presided over these village communities, respecting their autonomy as long as the flow of surplus was unimpeded. This was regarded as the stagnant system. This picture of rural society was far from true. In fact, during the 16th and the 17th century ADs, rural society was characterized by considerable social and economic differentiation. At one end of the spectrum were the big zamindars who enjoyed superior rights in the land, and at the other end, the untouchables, landless laborers. In between was the big peasant who used who used hired labor and engaged in commodity production, and the smaller peasant who could barely produce for his subsistence. B point. A more complex social reality. During 17th century, about 15% of the population lived in towns. This was on average higher than the proportion of the urban population in the Western Europe in the same time. In spite of this, Bernier described Mughal cities as camp towns, by which he meant towns that owed their existence and dependent for their survival on the imperial camp. Merchants often had strong community or kin ties and were organized into their own caste come occupational bodies. In Western India, These groups were called Mahajans, and their chief the Seth. So the chief of the Mahajans is called as the Seth, or the Seth is the chief of the Mahajans. In urban areas like Ahmedabad, the Mahajans were collectively represented by the chief of the merchant community, who was called the Nagar Seth. Other urban groups included physicians, that is Hakim or Ved, teachers, that is Pandit or Mullah, lawyers, that is Vakil, painters, architects, musicians, calligraphers, etc. Arrow, next arrow. Bernier provided a detailed account of the working of the imperial karkhanas or workshops. Karkhanas or workshops. Seventh point. Women, slaves, sati, and laborers. In arrow, Bernier also explained the horror of sati. Bernier also explained the horror of sati. Women, slaves, sati, and laborers. When Ibn Battuta reached Sindh, he purchased horses, camels, and slaves as gifts for the Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq in return gave him 100,000 tankas, that is coins, and 200 slaves. Female slaves in service of Sultan were experts in music and dance. Female slaves were also employed by the Sultan to keep watch on his nobles. Women from merchant families participated in commercial activities, sometimes even taking mercantile disputes to the court of the law. It therefore seems unlikely that the women were confined to the private spaces of their homes. Next image. A sculpted panel from Mathura depicting travelers. A sculpted panel from Mathura depicting travelers. So next comes the timeline. So some travelers who left accounts. 10th and 11th centuries, 973 to 1048. Muhammad ibn Ahmad Abu Rihan al-Biruni, that is in short al-Biruni, from Uzbekistan. 13th century, 1254 to 1327. Marco Polo from Italy. 14th century, 1304 to 77. Ibn Battuta from Morocco. 15th century, 1413 to 52. Abdul Razak Kamal Samarkandi from Samarkand. 1466 to 72 is the year spent in India by the Afanasi Nikitich Nikitin from Russia. 16th century, in 16th century now, 1518, Duarte Barbosa died 1521 from Portugal. So Duarte Barbosa visited to India in 1518 from Portugal. In 1562, the year of death of the Sayyidi Ali Reis from Turkey. 1562 is the death of the Sayyidi Ali Reis. 1536 to 1600, Antonio Monserrat in Spain. 1536 to 1600, Antonio Monserrat, Spain. 17th century, 1626 to 31, years spent in India. 1626 to 31 are the years spent in India by the Mahmud Wali Balkhi from Balkh. 1600 से start, Peter Mundy, England. 1605 से 89, जीन बैप्टिस्ट टेवर्नियर, फ्रांस. 1620 से 88, फ्रैंकर बर्नियर, फ्रांस. फ्रैंकस बर्नियर भी फ्रांस से था. जीन बैप्टिस्ट टेवर्नियर भी फ्रांस से था. टेवर्नियर वाज ए फ्रेंच